Hey folks, Quill18 here and welcome to a brand new Let's Play for Sid Meier's Civilization 4. We just recently played a game of Civ 4, had a great time with it, and I actually got a few comments from people saying they'd love to see more with pursuing different victory conditions. So that's what we're going to try with this series. And in fact, I'm going to very explicitly go for victory condition that I do the least. Because in my opinion, I often say, in all versions of Civ, you know, be ready to adjust to what happens. Don't go in with a plan right away. You have to be ready to adapt because you don't know what the world is going to look like. Now, at lower difficulties, you can always sort of force your way in, but at higher difficulties, you do have to be a little bit flexible. Now, that's only kind of half true. I think this really applies because generally I go through what I would call, I guess, the more traditional, typical, standard way to play through Civ, right? I want to get big, strong, highly advanced in tech, and then probably we could either go into a military victory at that point, or very naturally into a scientific victory. Possibly into various versions of diplomatic victories, depending on which version of Civ we are playing. The exception, I guess, would probably be cultural or tourism victories in, various editions of Civilization. They require probably a little bit more focus, I guess we could say. So I would like to try to work towards that today. Will we manage an actual culture victory? Will we have to go and back into something else in the end? Hopefully not. And in fact, I think if you do hardcore pursue a cultural victory, you actually do sacrifice science at a certain point in the game. So it would make converting into a scientific victory or even a military one, because you won't necessarily have the latest, greatest units near the end, a lot harder. Anyway, let's go ahead into custom game. As before, the music in the background is Civ 6 music because it's less problematic on YouTube, and I am running the bug mod, which is simply a UI adjustment. I will be playing on Monarch again because I'm still a little bit rusty on Civ 4. We actually didn't have too hard of a time last time, but that was with a traditional game. Here, with me playing for a cultural victory, I think it is important that I don't boost the difficulty too much higher. I'm going to leave the random events turned off. And in terms of a map, I actually was really tempted to do a game on Smart Map over here, which actually is a really cool map. The only hesitation I have is that a lot of times these fan-made map packs, which you can download individually, but I think this one came bundled with the bug mod, for example. A lot of times that one and what's it called? Like Better Earth or Planet Generator over here, I think they tend to lead to somewhat drier climates, which does make it harder to get like a really solid cottage economy going. Which is one of the ways that you can work towards a cultural victory. Lots of cottages and then run the culture slider to the max. The other one is with a bunch of specialists to spam out great artists. In practice, I think we probably end up doing the two. I don't know, maybe we should try Smart Map. There's a risk on this we also become isolated, which is no good because we do actually need a lot of, we want several religions. I guess I could force the number of continents down to just fewer. You know what? I'm just going to go and play a standard continents map for this one. I think for the cultural victory, it's going to be important. For the next one, we'll try a different map script. But I think a standard continents map is actually going to be best for us. All victories turned on. All these settings here are going to be standard. Who are we going to play as? So, in my opinion, if we're going for a cultural victory, there's two traits I would say stand out the most. Ironically, creative is not one of them. So the creative trait gives all of your cities 2 free culture per turn without any buildings. And I think probably makes things like theaters cheaper, which they are cultural buildings. And it seems like it would be a natural fit. But in practice, the +2 culture per turn doesn't actually add up that much. The way you win a cultural victory in Civ 4, by the way, is to get 3 cities to legendary culture, which on standard settings is, I believe, 50,000 culture. So you can see how 2 doesn't really add up that much. The free culture is actually really nice just to fuel expansion because you put you settle a new city and then it's got culture boost right away. So within 5 turns, it'll expand to its fat cross, which is really, really lovely. But I don't know how much it helps otherwise. I think the 2 main traits that are incredibly helpful are the industrious trait, which gives you a 50% boost to building wonders, which does make it a lot easier to snag wonders that increase culture, and just generally wonders are kind of strong. And I think the other one that's very strong is philosophical because it gives you a 50% increased production of great people. And in particular, we're going to be interested in producing a lot of great artists. So that could be really useful. And then the final thing to consider is anyone who's got a unique building that gives you a nice push. I think with that in mind, I was thinking about playing Louis the 14th, who is creative, which again, I say isn't that helpful. Although, again, if I'm right, if it's got a discount on, I don't know what discount it's got. Like maybe theater. I mean, that would be handy because we're going to build a theater everywhere. I mean, we do. The traits that give you discounts to buildings you're going to build everywhere, period, is always nice. But the thing with Louis is playing as France, and there are a few French leaders. Like we've also got Napoleon over here, who's organized and charismatic. Charismatic is actually really nice in general. And I can't remember who the third French leader is. I'm pretty sure there are three, but I can't remember who they are. Anyway, yeah, the thing with France, though, is that they do get a unique building called the Salon, which I think is the replacement for the Observatory, which is normally just a science building. I think the Salon also gives you one free artist in the city. So that'll be producing a bunch of culture and also generating great artist points, which is handy. So I think France is probably a pretty good pick for this, even though, as I said, creative may not actually be that important here. Anyway, let's lunch and see what we get. For all I know, I'm going to be regenerating the map here because if it's a really poor start... Okay, here we are. I did re-roll the start one time because the first one I was not very impressed by. I'm not sure that this is a great start. I don't like the ones with kind of weedly luxury resource situation, right? But one thing we do have is plenty of food. That's nice. We got some trees we can chop as well to accelerate some wonderage, which is good. We've got access to fresh water. Yeah, overall not bad. Let's go and settle the great city of Paris, everyone knows, is on the eastern tip of some kind of continent over here and next to a lake and no river whatsoever. What are we going to start with? Probably a worker in this case. Now, as France, we do start with, well, is it the nation? Is it based on our traits or is it based on the nation? I think it's based on nation. I think France starts with the wheel and agriculture, which is not necessarily linked to our traits. I think most people who have the spiritualist trait, for example, do start with mysticism, but I don't think that's actually, I don't know. Anyway, we start with the wheel and agriculture, so we'll be able to work the farm immediately. The wheel doesn't do much for us at the moment. I mean, there is the possibility of doing some sort of crazy chariot rush, but we would need animal husbandry to be able to see horses in the first place. Well, actually, animal husbandry is not a terrible pick for an early tech because we have pigs, and I'm fond of pigs. They're actually very good resources in Civ 4 because you get +3 food on them with a pasture. It turns into a crazy food tile. I'm not convinced we have a tremendous amount of production available in Paris here, especially once we chop the woods. Although I guess there are 3 hills, not counting the one with the pigs, that we can mine. Oh my god, Bella, what's up? Bella's just... Sorry, Essentia's away. I'm alone in the house for a little bit. And Bella's here, and she's hanging out with me downstairs, and she won't stop whining, and I don't know why. She doesn't have to pee. She just got a treat. I just gave her pets. I think she is just lonely and bored. So anyway, my apologies. You can hear some weird whining in the background. maybe I'll throw her out of the basement after this episode. Not that I want to. I'm just feeling bad for her. Anyway. I am wondering about going animal husbandry first. Normally, a lot of times I go bronze working early because I want to be able to chop forest, I want to reveal copper, I want to enable the Slaver Civic, which is really powerful. Obviously, an early push towards writing is very good for lots of reasons. There's a good chance I probably want to make the Oracle Slingshot if we can make it work. But yeah, I think animal husbandry makes sense. Now, I am wondering if we should go hunting first just to unlock the ability to train a scout. We could do this. And it's not clear here, and I'm not entirely sure if this is the case, but I'm pretty sure if we have more prereqs or something, the cost to research something goes down. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like that was something in Civ 4. Well, there's not a clear indicator of needing hunting yet. We don't have anything to camp on, like there's no ivy or anything. But yeah, I think it'll be a good idea to go to animal husbandry first and then bronze working. And then our worker will be able to farm this. And yeah, by the time it's out, like, well, it's going to take 15 turns to construct it. Oh, I guess here's the thing. I could not do a worker first and let our city grow first. But, well, I'm happy that we've got tiles that have 2 food, 1 production. We don't have anything super duper godly. If I had like a triple food tile, I might consider working that first for a quick growth while working on maybe a warrior. So we get size 2 fairly quickly and then switch over to the worker. But I think here the worker is the fine way to start. Let's keep going. Let's go. I was going to say, it's going to be tundra here, which might be a terrible place for like a bunch of barbarians to constantly spawn. But we'll probably have to park a couple of warriors up there just to babysit against that. Yeah, the tile allocation won't have changed even with this because when you're doing a worker, your pop doesn't grow. All the excess food goes over here. So food and hammers is literally the same right now. So yeah. All right, it's fine. The silver is quite nice. Got a lot of commerce from it. It's a luxury resource. We'd found some fish up here. And I mean, I guess there's still technically a little bit of space there, but I'm not going to check for it quite yet. We'd found some fish here. We could have made a nice little snowball city. Let's go here for... Sully! Nice to meet you. Philosophical, imperialistic. I don't remember if you're particularly aggro or not. He does have archers because we were playing on monarchs, so they do start with archers, which is pretty scary. I can't remember everything the AI gets on monarch. Buddhism has been found turn 9. It's a little earlier than you sometimes see. I think I often see it on turn 10 or 11 on standard speed. The interesting question will be whether we see Hinduism in another turn or so. Okay, that's a lot of gold. A little dry down here with the desert. Oh, and you're there? Oh my god, we do not have a lot of room to play.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks.
And that's our first goodie hut? And it spawned barbarians. And we lose our warrior. Oh, that's bad. I'm not convinced this is going to be a winning game here. We may have to do a really... I think I'm going to re-roll this one. Because we're definitely going to have to do an early war. Okay, that's not a very fast Hinduism, so no one started blind... Like, if there were 2 people that started with mysticism, we didn't have one person go meditation and one going polytheism. There could have been multiple people with mysticism that both went meditation. First, and then only one got Buddhism, so someone else went here, or could be the same person found in both religions, although I don't think the AI is likely to do it. Okay, Sully is the one who researched Hinduism. That's interesting. They'll almost certainly spread it to us early, which we don't mind.
The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones.
That is a good tile now. First goes quickly. We'll definitely go and finish that warrior, especially since we, don't have one. We can go for an early settler, and we have to, because we have to aggressively get out here. Ugh, god damn you, barbarian. It's possible the barbarians aren't going to enter our borders at this stage in the game. I know if we just, the animals can't. Oh, that's the wrong unit. Okay. The actual barbarians usually can, but they may be coded to not do it at this stage. Okay, wow, we took a lot of damage there for defending on a mountain or on a hill. That is brutal. Until we get bronze working, we don't actually have anything else we can do with our worker. I suppose I may as well plop down the start of a road here. Well, I'm happy you're letting me heal a little bit more, but otherwise I'm willing to, go ahead and attack me. Let's get a road set up over here so we can move out a little faster. Okay, we lost a second warrior. Okay, so, exit the main menu. Start game, single game. Where's Lewis? Lewis, there you are. France, Monarch, Continents. All right, let's launch a new one. That is unacceptable. How's this start? Well, we got cows. Not as good as pigs, because pigs do give you more food. Cows only get plus... Oh, okay, the pigs give you +3 food. The cows give you 1 food, 2 hammers. I mean, that's not bad. Certainly, it's not bad. A lot of calendar resources, which is tough. There's a lot of luxuries here with the spices, but we won't get to take advantage of them until we get the calendar tech, which definitely comes a little bit later. But we've also got this. Okay, I might still go with animal husbandry first. I think I'm still going to go worker first, and I think I'm still going to go animal husbandry first. Tile-wise, yeah, we're good there. Now, I'm not going to pop this goodie hut with the warrior, because as we just saw, you can get barbarians out of there. If you pop a goodie hut with a scout, you do not get a bad event. Which I think the only bad event you can get is barbarian spawn. So scouts don't do it. But also, if you pop a goodie hut with your border expansion, it also can't give you a bad outcome. Unless I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Now, no matter what, you pop your first border expansion pretty quick in your capital because your palace gives you 2 culture. We get 2 more because we are creative as Louis here, as Louis the 14th. Okay, and we have marble. That's actually really good because I would like to build several marble-based wonders, and that will double our production speed. We will have to settle to take advantage of that because it'll take a while before Paris's border expand enough for that.
Him for a day.
Okay, we got a free technology out of the goodie hut.
You feed him for a lifetime.
Which is always good. Fishing is not the handiest right at this moment on the basis that it's not something we can actually take advantage of. This fish here will never get worked, which is a little unfortunate. We could consider settling here for a city, which would get the fish. Now, this is very close and obviously has a lot of overlap, which isn't ideal, but as I always say, that mostly only matters once your cities are both at max size. This city actually becomes an excellent candidate for the the statues, the big giant head statues, which give +1 production to all sea tiles, all water tiles. That's a lot of water tiles over there. If we settled on this spot, that's actually tricky. If we settle on the spot, we would get +1 base production. It looks like Paris is getting, actually, which I hadn't realized is I was settling on a Plains Hill. That's actually really nice for some base production. We would get that. The disadvantage would be we'd never get to hook up the sheep as a pasture, which would give it an extra +2 food and the +1 commerce. We'd still get the sheep, which is just a health resource. So it's not really a big deal. But by settling here, we do get the extra hammer. We do get the fish, which I wouldn't get if I settled here. Now, there's less overlap if I settled here. The other thing that's nice about settling here is it turns a tundra tile, which is kind of garbage, into a decent baseline tile. We'll get the 2-1-1 production of the base tile if we do this. It means not getting the fish, which is nice as a food resource. I think I'm fine with settling here, right? This doesn't get the fish. It would get to pasture up this, but no, that's good. Lots of overlap. I think it's okay. And in fact, I strongly suspect it might be, well, is it going to be our first city? Because I know I'm going to want the marble, which does mean we're going to have to research masonry, which oftentimes I delay. But I think in this situation, it's going to be a fairly good pick. And that's obviously forest. I suppose if there was a resource there, we wouldn't see it. Turn 8 for Buddhism. Was I just saying turn 9 was a little earlier than used to? It could be that if someone has a lake like this, it's actually not bad for the commerce because of the 2 food, 2 culture. If you're a financial civ, that would actually translate to an extra, I said culture, I meant commerce. An extra commerce, which is quite a lot of science. We are hoping for a lot of religions. Wow, that's a heckin' lot of beaver. The wolves, by the way, have a movement speed of 2, so they could reach me, but they don't have an attack strength of 1, so they're certainly not scary. Not scary to your warriors. They could be really scary to an unescorted settler, but otherwise we're okay. All right, workers are coming down. Same turn animal husbandry finishes, which is very nice.
Increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep.
Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go bronze working, and then we might backfill to masonry then. So the whole reason that marble is good is the wonders that I like to get. You can see double production speed with marble. Over here, the Great Library as well, double production speed with marble is all really, really excellent. We will get a warrior now. We need a little bit more vision and some escorting available. We'll start with the cattle immediately because it is so much closer. And here, there's a river and everything. Like, there might be a good spot there. Hello, woofs. Goodbye, woofs. I will give you just the combat promotion, which is what I like to do with warrior. That into shock. Hinduism founded in distant land. Still faster than last time. Okay, so that's done. We don't need to road that. We will go and improve that over here. And oh, there's a goodie hut there. We could get barbarian. Is it okay? It is on a forest tile, so if it gets barbarian, sometimes it's 1 barbarian, sometimes it's 2. I'm pretty sure are both possible. Let's get 1 more warrior. It'll actually line up really nicely with the growth rate here. Yeah, we got a scout. Well, that's nice. As I say, at least if we're on the forest, it's a little less likely to turn out badly. Okay, so we got the scout for goodie huts. I may want to move away from the wolves because the scouts do get plus 100% strength against animals, but they only have a base strength of 1, which means also the hill here, which normally has 25% bonus. That's an extra 0.5 on the warrior. It's only an extra 0.25 on the scout. So I think I'll just do this and kind of avoid that wolf completely. I think I'm going to send you over here. You'll come up over this way. Okay, there's some nice land down here. Some really nice land. We haven't met a neighbor, so we're not boxed into a tiny little corner this time either. I liked sort of our surroundings last time. The lion's a little scary because it does have a strength of 2. It's scary for the scout, mostly. Okay, So you've grown, which is good. We're going to go into a settler now for sure. And I'm going to go stand in a place where I might likely will expand. Okay, this is a scout, so we can do this. We get a tech. Horseback riding.
If you speak the truth,
Okay.
have a foot in the stirrup.
I can probably just automate you. Let's come down here. Because this guy's going to come through this way. So we'll push you a little further west onto the coast. Okay, warrior survived against that lion. And you're not even all that injured. Oh, although there's more lions. Hey, Mansa! Nice to meet you. So spiritual, financial, actually a great pair of traits. Really, really good. Which is, I suppose, bad for me. All right, deft. Let's move you up here. We're just going to invite the attack. Even though we're injured, that's fine. So this will be a bit of a dead end, but I want to get the vision off the coast. All right, you're hooked up. We don't have bronze working yet, but this time we can actually go and mine this hill to get some things started, which is good. All right, good work. And yeah, now I'm going to take shock, which is plus 25% against melee units, which is what we're most likely to see early on. I'm going to go ahead and rest you a little bit, and you'll scooch around this way. Now, I actually might want to go and settle down in this direction first, because the spot behind us is pretty safe. Oh, and there's someone here. Okay. All right, Mansa is annoyingly close, as it turns out. I was hoping we get a little bit more space, but apparently that is not to be today. So, let's see here. I would like to have something to take advantage of the coast here. Again, a great Moai statue kind of place. I don't know if that's the case. I think we'll do this. You have no resources, which isn't ideal. Unless I don't settle on the coast and instead do this. Now, the downside with this is the city itself won't be on a hill. It'll be adjacent to a hill over here, which is going to be a great place for an invading army to go and stand on. We're definitely going to want to chop these forests, because the forest gives 50% defense bonus. The hill is only 25%. So right now it's 75% defense bonus in this tile, you can see from the tooltip. But if we get rid of the forest, it won't be so bad. That'll probably be okay. It's got a couple of desert tiles here and here, which isn't ideal, but otherwise isn't too bad. Yeah, kind of a lack of anything special, but it does have a lot of floodplains, which is going to lead to some unhealthiness, but will give this city plenty of food. All right, I think that is going to be the plan. Forward settle against this guy, especially before he settles towards me. And then... that's sort of maximum coverage. Again, we're not on a hill ourselves. We do get the stone, which is good. I think that's still probably a fine spot. You could do this, leaving a little gap. I mean, it's a desert and a desert hill, which isn't terribly valuable. This still has the freshwater bonus, puts us on a hill, which is nice for defense, brings the spices within the radius. And yeah, not much in the way of resources, but it's got the floodplains. These are all desert hills, which are really crap for production. We got a plains hill over here, which isn't too bad. Mostly it's going to be an issue for later on, that these are a little bit more garbage. We got plenty of good ones for early game, when we can't grow our cities that big anyway. I am wondering about that, again, for the hill, for the production, which doesn't matter as much later on, but is nice early, but is still really good defensively. On the other hand, this does have 3 mountain tiles, and I mean some tundra, which isn't ideal. If I move here, the overall quality of the land mostly improves, although we get a little more tundra there. I still might do this. And then I would have gone something like that. That seems great. Hill, coast, but not too many water tiles, which don't tend to be quite as valuable. And then, some resources here, but there's some overlap going on. So I suspect that that's not actually a good city location. In any case, the only thing that really matters right now is I think we're going to settle here, and then we're going to settle behind us for the marble. Okay. And yeah, just stay here and do a little fog busting. Scout, go back on Auto Explorer. That's fine. And I'm going to put you up here on that hill for some good vision. Prevent barbarians and things from spawning here. So we can send the settler out, quote unquote, unescorted. But really, it's going to be, we're going to have vision everywhere. So it's being guarded, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, we have a 3rd improved tiles. Oh, we got a free warrior. That's swell. And what I'll probably want to do is do some fog busting in the north. And you can, farm things for XP, but I'm not convinced it's as valuable in this game. Let's go... Actually, let me go over here just to push out the border there and see what's what. I must have seen this goody hut earlier, and, like, I didn't actually see it. But it was clearly must have been there. Yeah, we really don't have anything to do with this right now until bronze working kicks in, so I'll just go and build a little bit of a road down this way. Just to keep you busy. Okay. Settler is done. I'm actually wondering about immediately going to another settler. Or maybe what I want to do is let Paris grow to size 3, because it's got an improved tile here that it could be working. Not that it's, like, godly or anything like that, but... I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go immediately into another settler. And yeah, I'm going to still plan to go there. Okay. Actually, let me send the worker down here so we can start improving this pig immediately. On Auto Explorer, the scouts do stop to rest to heal if they get hurt. Not always in the best location, but mostly it's fine. All right, I think you'll also start with the worker. We need to get our second one up as soon as possible. You're going to fortify there. Let the lion attack my warrior, not my scout. Thank you. Again, the scout's plus 100% against animals isn't actually as good as it looks because they have such a low base strength. It mostly makes them not utter trash early on, but it's still not great.
It is entirely seemly for a young man.
Yes, I want the slavery kicked in right away.
Mangled by the bronze spear. In his death, all things appear fair.
Actually, is there any chance I want to do the thing where we get priesthood first, and then while the oracle is building, we research writing? Maybe, but I think we'll need at least pottery first. Otherwise, the push is going to be too much. Oh, I still need masonry. That's right. Okay, masonry, pottery, this, and then we finish writing. And we time it so that we finish writing before we get the oracle done. Okay, that's the goal. Let me put you in the city proper, even though that was good for vision. And we don't have to worry about our border expansion because, again, we are creative, so all of our cities get an automatic 2 culture, which doesn't matter that much for a cultural victory, but sure is nice for just the early expansion of your cities, not having to worry about things. So, okay, there was copper here. Huh, okay. Now, if we expand twice, we can reach that. They've got culture here, too. We've got some passive cultures. That's the only culture we know about, too. Or copper we know about. I might still settle here, because if we do get 2 border expansions still, the copper will still... We'll have a little bit more pressure to take the copper. Okay, we can hurry the settler, so we will do so. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to settle this one next. I want to grow your pop again. The workboat, I mean, we could put a workboat on the fish, which would generate health, but it wouldn't actually be a good working tile. Let me put some production to a barracks while you grow. And then, yeah, I'm still going to settle over there. Oh, wait, this pig is not in our board. Hold on. Should I have changed my plans for this pig? I don't know. Road connection. I'll probably get a second... Actually, I don't know if we're going to build any farms here. We don't have the cottage yet. I'll come over here and build this mine. This might just get completely cottage. There's enough food in Orleans, even with the fact that these guys have sort of a food deficit. We can probably just cottage absolutely everything. But I will get a mine here. We'll need that for some early production. All right, we're going to settle Lyon here. Go ahead, start with a worker anyway. You don't have that many tiles. You don't have any improved tiles to work. Oh, that's quite close to Jenai. Hopefully this is going to be fine. I don't want to work the barracks, or rush the barracks. You know what? Let's stop you at size 2 and do this. Actually, you can grow in 3 turns, and then I'll start the settler. Yeah, okay. And good. here's the thing. We're going to have to expect some amount of warfare. I am wondering about going barracks here. Like, this is going to be a big moneymaker, but, like, looking at short term, does it make sense if we can get this bronze? And I'm hoping that we do. I want to let the city grow, definitely, right now. Although, you would produce a worker very quickly. You know what? Never mind. Just do this, because, again, all of our excess food is going to help produce that worker. You're going to get your level 2 woodsman, so now you can move through woods much faster. And what I think we need to do is get a little something improved over here. Let's get a road connection for mobility. We don't have to rush that. Nah, I don't know. You know what? Cancel the road. Let's go just get the stone improved. Oh, we can't in 3 turns. Okay, I might build 1 farm here. I don't think Leon's really going to need much, but 1 good, strong food tile just seems really valuable here. I'm going to finish this shop immediately to accelerate that worker. And, oh, Paris did reach size 3, so let's go. I don't need to finish the barracks immediately. Just put in work on a settler.
It is from their foes, not their friends, that cities learn the lesson of building high walls.
Okay, we want you connected up to the capital. You got, yeah, that, you got that. I don't think I will be building another farm. So, yeah, I'm going to go road up over here so that we can get some trade going. And, you know, we are going to get stone. Your production's actually going to be okay. You will work that mine probably fairly quick. I'm actually tempted to do some really aggressive wonder making here. Get everything connected up. We'll appreciate the mobility. Theoretically, we don't need every single one of these roads to be able to get everything interconnected. But roads don't cost maintenance in Civ 4, so. All right, yes, we will hurry the settler. Okay. And I'm going to give you the combat promotion still. And from here, I really don't need a road the entire way because of the water, but I probably will, again, just for mobility. And really, actually, hold on. If you connect here and you connect here, this will all be connected to the capital, so I don't have to worry about rebuilding this road right now. We'll start on the stone. You'll get over there. Barracks is finished. I will probably do this. I don't even know if I have to keep you in the... Okay, Stonehenge been built. That's fine. We didn't even have the tech for it. That's okay. I will get a workboat started. And we could go for some early walls over here. I don't think he's going to insta-declare war on me or anything. So I'm thinking of just being kind of greedy and getting some extra workers out right now. Well, we've got nothing really going on yet. Yeah. Build just the mine? Let's see here. There's not going to be much food there in the mine. Actually, I think I'm going to get another farm here so that we can work 2 fairly good, strong food tiles and then work some tiles that don't have any food at all. So yeah, I'm still going to settle there. There's Rhymes. You get the workboat started, which is fine. You know what? Join in the worker spam too. Now, how long before these borders expand again? 28 turns. That's without a culture boost. Now, you might be getting a culture expansion too, but I suspect... I'm wondering if their city is here, in which case you're not going to expand there quickly, and we should have decent pressure. What I want, rather than park a unit in here, because I'm actually not worried about being attacked, I just want to go and push out the Fog of War some more. I just want to go and stick you, say, here. Give us a nice buffer against barbarian spawns. I don't think I'm going to hurry this workboat. Although you will need a unit in here, and I'm going to do that next, because at size 3, we're already getting a +1. We fear for our safety. We want a military production. So, you can't, without the hereditary rule civic, you don't get, like, policing from your military units. You don't get happiness from the military units. But cities without any military whatsoever do get unhappy once they hit size 3 on this difficulty. I think it's size 4 on lower difficulties. I don't know if it gets worse than 3. Yeah, help out with that. And then as soon as that's connected,
Hath not the potter power
we'll get a nice boost to working on the Great Wall.
Honor and another unto dishonor?
Scout, I think, keeps getting kicked out of territory as he's exploring. There you go. See, that just dropped. I think it was 19 last turn. Now it's 11 because the extra 50%. Huge. We're going to position you here for when Rhyme's borders expand. What I can do is I can build a road here. You can build a road in neutral terrain, so it'll just be ready to go. Yeah, I'm going to mine that tile. Which isn't going to come up right now because Leo's not growing, but it will come up. Okay, we're currently only running our science 50%. I don't think we got a goodie hut that gave us money, which is non-ideal. You know what? This isn't going to work out then. Let me make a slight change to our plans. You know what? Screw it. Start the pyramids. We're going to go writing first because our science rate isn't going to be good enough otherwise. We need a library so that we can put a couple of science specialists. All right, I'm just going to get you to fortify in here. There's a little bit of a policing force. Start mining that. That's fine. Borders of Rhymes have expanded. That's good. Get the marble fairly soon. We don't have a marble wonder going currently, but we will. Okay. So what are you running? You're running this. Now that tile's not improved. I guess we did get pottery. Oh, you're getting your butt kicked. There's still a barbarian there, so let's move over this way. Yeah, we're gonna start cottaging. Do we get you one more farm? No. Let's start cottaging immediately. It'll be a while before they turn into powerhouses, but it will benefit us. Okay, so you've got that, which is good. I think I'm still going to go and get the road going to be useful for our mobility. Let's plan on going. Let's go this way. I'm going to say through the woods to make sure we, to get better movement in otherwise difficult tiles. But we're going to want to hook up the pig for the healthiness bonus at some point. I mean, it's not going to matter. We're going to want to do all of them at some point. Okay, so let's road towards this marble, please. And Rhymes is now going to be working this tile and getting lots of food, which is wonderful. Okay. Here, I'll max this out. Just it'll spend just the extra 7 gold. I want as much science as we can possibly squeeze out. All right, that's done. Oh, there's a fairly good tile to work there, actually. We might end up windmilling all this later, but for now, this is fine. Okay. Yeah, they're still recommending another workboat because there's technically a fish, even though it couldn't be used. We are going to want our granaries up everywhere because that'll make it a lot easier to get much more bang for our buck out of our slavery civic. Now, I think, okay. We've got the extra food. I don't know if we get rid of the forests here. I think what we do plan on is we give ownership to all these tiles to Rhymes for now. We probably will flip them back to Paris later, but until Rhymes gets its Moy statues, or however they're pronounced, it's going to be very reliant on running these tiles here for production. Later on, this is going to have great production from the sea tiles. We might still leave the forest here. So what we could do is we could farm these tiles because it's next to fresh water. That's a possibility. We can also cottage all these things up, which is great for our economy. Although we're going to be working these sea tiles, which are going to be pretty nice. We're going to get a couple plantations here, clearly. And once we get a lighthouse, these are all going to be 2 food tiles. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to do anything. I suppose we could do the chops just to accelerate. That's a possibility. All right, so yeah, there's the cottage. So now you're working it for an extra culture. Or an extra commerce, but in 10 turns, well, 9 turns now, this cottage will grow to hamlet, so it'll get +1 commerce, and then it'll then grow and maxes out at town level. So you get more money every time it levels up, and then much later on, universal suffrage, our towns give us +1 hammers. With free speech, our towns give us an extra 2 commerce, so really valuable. +1 commerce right now isn't really a huge deal. It's not bad, obviously. Probably a farm here to give us food would be more useful. Heck, And then later we can get a watermill here for production. But once these guys get to town level, it goes crazy. I think I will go and mine there. You're going to go... Oh, that's an archer. That's... You know what? I'll pull back. I'll maybe put a double stack of units here. Oh, I guess that removes that. Maybe I'll pull everyone back to just this spot here. That's a possibility. And, I mean, I guess I may as well... Actually, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help establish this a little faster. Orleans going to become unhappy the next turn. Well, they'll probably go and get whipped, actually, is what's going to happen. To sack some population. Oh, I guess we got our Great Walls, didn't we? Hey, hey! Look at that! So pretty. So it stops the barbarians from entering our territory. Right, let's get the full rundown over here. Great Wonders, the Great Wall. So little culture. It also, I think this is engineering. Yes. Great Spy. Oh, it's Great Spy progress. Actually, that's kind of nice. Getting a Great Spy isn't something I usually actively work on, mostly because it's kind of tricky to actively work on it, but it's really nice to get early. So you can see, prevents barbarians from entering borders on this entire continent, even cities I produce later. Even though visually they won't get the wall, it doesn't matter. We get more great generals, and yeah, it'll generate some great people points for us, which doesn't hurt, and a little bit of extra culture. It's pretty cheap to build, and we had the stone to boost it. So I don't normally go for it, but it ain't bad. I think I'm going to go and just go ahead and chop that immediately. And yeah, I guess I don't have to worry about barbarians entering my territory and being pains in the ass. Ooh, that's not great. Archer wasn't visible. I mean, I knew it was still around, but I didn't expect it to be right there. Yeah, that's really less than ideal. I'm just going to fortify there and hope it works out. All right, we're going to go and put a cut in here. Interesting first episode. Are we on like a mini microcontinent? So I'm running the continents map, which is usually 2 big continents, but I don't know, maybe it keeps snaking over here. In which case, it might take a while before we meet our next neighbor. We do have a lot of border friction with our one neighbor. I think the plan has to be secure the copper and go for a very aggressive axeman rush, which isn't necessarily helped by me spamming out a couple of wonders here. But it's not like we have the copper anyway. As long as we're prepping by getting some barracks in places, that's going to be okay. And yeah, we need the writing to build a library, and we need to run a couple of science specialists so we can pop maybe one great scientist and get some passive science going, especially if we're going to expand, because each one of our cities has a maintenance. The maintenance cost goes up based on how many cities, based on how many cities you've got. The more cities you have, the more maintenance you pay in every one of your cities. Going up to 4 this early is pretty aggressive, but we're still running 50% science, which isn't so bad. And they're relatively decent cities, and they are securing some interesting stuff. I suppose we could not go for an axe rush. Instead, go for a catapult timing, which requires construction over here. Like, I think we have to push east into this territory. The fact of the matter is, for a cultural victory, we realistically need 6 decent quality cities. 9 makes it easier. This is related to building cathedrals later, but 6 is sufficient. But I'm not sure we can get 6 high enough quality cities. Like, this is a good spot there, and then it gets pretty far away. I think realistically, we're gonna have to go and take these guys. But maybe what I could do is I can still go with the plan, build Oracle, which at least will build at double speed with the marble, build the Great Library, which again, double speed with the marble is really good. And then we'll be in an excellent position. Like, if I build the Oracle, get the free tech, use the Slingshot Code of Laws, it's going to be wonderful. But we're not, we had to stop by masonry. We also, we picked up animal husbandry. We got horseback riding for free, which is nice, but doesn't actually help our cause, unfortunately. Although maybe I can make a horse archer based attack, although we don't have horses, do we? No, that was a really lame, oh, it's way up there. That was a pretty lame free tech. It's worth noting that horseback riding is actually a dead end tech. You don't need to research it. So that doesn't even just advance us down the tech tree. So that was kind of a bad roll, unfortunately. So yeah, we might be getting to the Oracle too late, which certainly would hurt. On the other hand, Polytheism still gives us the Temple of Artemis, which is a really good wonder, double speed with marble. Where I think Stonehenge may have already gone. Right? That's not it. Is it this one? Yeah, Stonehenge is already gone, which not a surprise. So, and yeah, I almost certainly started with mysticism. And yeah, I mean, definitely they would have, because they got Buddhism on turn 9 or whatever, turn 8. So yeah, so someone could have started Stonehenge immediately, and that's okay. I mean, it's great to get, don't get me wrong, but if we don't start with mysticism, what you really want is a start where you're playing a civ that starts on mysticism and have stone in your capital. Then you go and whack out Stonehenge. Otherwise, it's probably a lost cause. But yeah, maybe we can still, we're not playing industrious, right? We don't have an industrious civilization. Oh no, we do. Sorry. For some reason, I was convinced myself that Louis was philosophical. Sorry, we're industrious. We have a 50% wonder production boost. Plus, we have both types of stone. I think we should be as greedy as possible with all the wonders. Which isn't... Wonder spam isn't actually the, like, necessarily most optimal way to win a cultural victory in Civ 4. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Well, unless, you know, opportunity cost or whatever. They do produce culture, which is very nice. But a lot of times what you end up doing is you just end up building lots of cottages and then set your slider to 100% culture over here. So at some point, once you've reached the final critical tech you need for culture victory, you just basically kill off your science completely and just devote everything to culture. But if we do get these wonders up, it will be helpful. And yeah, 50% from industrious, and then we've got both stones for increasing the speed as well. I think it says I guess it describes it as having it, right? Or double production speed with marbles, plus 100. So really, we're producing all these at 150% of base, which ain't bad. And we got some decent production a couple places. Oops, hold on. Stay on auto, but yeah, let me just, before I forget here, and I am ending the episode, I promise, but yeah, we have to start whacking some people here. People are unhappy. The ritual sacrifices will continue until morale improves. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.